Good. I'd like to welcome everyone to the March 16th, 2017 meeting of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners. If everyone would join me in the pledge, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. We have a fairly light agenda this morning, but let me start off with introductions. I'm Jeff Benton, President of the Board this year. To my left is Vice President Gary Merrill. To my right is Barb Lewis, fellow Commissioner. And Farzan Ahmed is absent today. He's at another meeting, so we have Don Houston, our Assistant County Administrator here, and Sarah DeNova is our clerk today. So, with all those introductions, we can get going.
Resolution number 17-265, in the matter of approving the electronic record of the proceedings from regular meeting held March 13th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-265. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We have no public or elected comment today. Resolution number 17-266, in the matter of approving purchase orders, then and now certificates and payments of warrants and batch numbers CNA PR 0315.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-266. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-267, in the matter of approving travel expense requests.
So moved.
second.
Take it. Well, take your choice.
Whoever you want to, yeah.
All right, discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-267. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-268, in the matter of acknowledging receipt of annexation petition from the agent for the petitioner, Jeffrey W. Sharp, requesting annexation of 5.303 acres of land in Berkshire Township to the village of Galena.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-268. Mr. Merrill? Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-269, in the matter of authorizing the use of a procurement card for the Common Pleas Court.
So I'll second it. Okay. We're going to get another
We've got to figure this out.
Discussion. Vote.
Kristen Schultz is here.
Okay.
If you would like to
That's
speak.
right.
Hello. Good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Yes, we are. I'm looking to get a procurement card. I'm going to be transitioning from staff attorney magistrate to court administrator for both Judge Krieger and Judge Gormley starting April 1st. So that's the reason for seeking this card. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
No questions.
Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-269. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 17-270, in the matter of authorizing the submitting of an application to the Ohio Department of Public Safety Division of Emergency Medical Services grant for the training of personnel and the purchase of equipment used for training in education.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Eric Burgess, Assistant Chief, EMS. This resolution is for approval to submit for the Ohio Department of Public Safety Division of EMS grant for training and equipment for our personnel. This money comes from seatbelt fines. They take some of that money, throw it into a fund, and then they disperse that among fire and EMS agencies. We generally use this money to purchase CPR equipment. We've taught, several CPR classes over the last couple of years for county employees, and this money would be used in to replace that type of stuff. Or any of the other classes that we do, we use that money to purchase the equipment to conduct those classes. So we would recommend your approval at this time.
What's the history been of this, Eric?
Just about every year we get this grant. I think last year we received $3,200. So and that goes a long way to purchase what we need. So and it varies. I think the lowest we've ever gotten is $1,700. This is a non-matching grant, so it's 100% from the state. So just whatever we get, and you never know one year to the next what you're going to get. They just look at your needs and make the decision. So least we've gotten is $1,700. The most is $3,200. So.
Okay. Questions? All right. We'll take a vote.
Vote on motion 17-270. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
That brings us to administrative reports.
All right.
And while we have Assistant Chief Burgess here,
Don't leave just yet.
our Emergency Medical Services Department recently received an award from the United States Department of Health and Human Services for their support of the National Disaster Medical System. We had one of our medics, Andrew Coxis, who went to the presidential inauguration in January and spent 10 days there assisting with the National Disaster Medical System response to the inauguration. So I don't know if you want to add anything to
Sure.
that, but it's a pretty neat honor. And
Sure. We have, I believe, 5 personnel on the Disaster Medical Assistance Team. That's a federal team through FEMA. So whenever there's some sort of natural disaster that requires, resources from across the country, or if there's a presidential inauguration, and we also took part in the Republican convention in Cleveland last year. So we have those folks that they train regularly with that team, and then whenever they're called to go, they go. We went to New Orleans for Hurricane Katrina, so we've kind of been all over the place. So it was really neat to receive that recognition. So.
Oh, that's great. Great. Gee.
Let's hope they're not too active in the coming years.
I hope, yeah. As long as it's good stuff like, inaugurations and
Nothing
conventions,
Right,
that's the
right,
good stuff,
right.
so.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
that's all I have.
Commissioner Lewis.
We have our first NACO Stepping Up conference call for mid-sized counties tomorrow afternoon, and I'll be on the call with Cassie Neff from the Sheriff's Office, and the Sheriff may also be on the call. But what this is a sharing of information and good practices for stepping up. So it'll be interesting to...
It's a national call.
This is right, it's a national call, right. So I'll let you know after I'm on it.
How many counties are in a mid-size?
I was thinking, I don't know. I was just wondering myself. How many? So I'll find out tomorrow. Yeah, and I was pleased to be able to deliver Meals on Wheels tomorrow yesterday, with a great volunteer. And it really just emphasizes how important it is and how necessary it is to deliver meals to people who can't get out and who can't cook themselves, or if they do, it's not going to be won't be a very well-balanced meal that they get from Meals on Wheels. So I just wanted to remind everyone that Meals on Wheels always needs new volunteers, and people can just call SourcePoint for that information as to how to apply, or also just get on their website. There is an application online. And we have... I won't steal all your thunder, because you want to talk about the legislative meeting Monday?
Go right ahead.
Well, we do have a legislative meeting with, I know, Representative Carfagna. This is sponsored by County Commissioners Association of Ohio. I'm not sure who else.
Brenner and...
I think all three will be
all
there.
three will
Oh,
be there.
good. Okay, Representative Brenner,
Right,
Senator
and
Jordan. Good. So we'll have a chance to get into some of the State House legislation that we're interested in that will benefit the county.
Right.
It's at 9 o'clock at North Star.
9 o'clock at North Star, okay. Which pushes our session then back to 1:30 on Monday. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's several issues that are important to CCO. They're the ones that kind of coordinate the meeting. It's with us and Knox County.
That's right.
So I think, I saw the number this morning, I think we have 8 coming from our county. I'm not sure how many's coming from Knox. So it's a great opportunity for us to sit down with our legislators and help them understand some of the issues that we're having to deal with or will be dealing with, like voting machines and the sales tax issue, et cetera, et cetera. The Meals on Wheels, I was also involved yesterday. The third year in a row I have worked in the kitchen rather than going out. It seems to fit my schedule better, and I'm always amazed at I don't remember everybody that was back there that I worked with, but Dewey and Mary and Betsy, thank you for putting up with me. among others, and but I did enjoy it. And I use the example, it's kind of like the I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to anyway.
Oh,
It's
no.
kind of like the Lucille Ball example when you work in the...
The candy
Remember that?
line.
It's not that bad, I'm just using it as a joke. Actually, they're very efficient, very proficient, and it's amazing. I think, I asked, how many do you
Yeah,
prepare a day, and the figure the volunteers and the employees who work on said 800 to 900 a day on average. So some days more. The meal we prepared yesterday is the meal that goes out today. And so it's really fascinating. The number of people they have volunteer out there is really unbelievable. And the other things I have to mention is I also was involved in a conference call regarding the facilities for Morpsey. The lease on the current facility will expire later this year, and they're evaluating over the next few weeks, which now we have another month till May to get this figured out. But and then tomorrow I have a CCA board meeting at 10 o'clock, and with that, I'll let you talk about the chamber today.
Okay, yeah, we've got always a lot going on in the county. We do this today at 11:45. 11:45 to 1 is the Delaware Area Chamber of Commerce presentation of that the three of us will be making about the state of the county. And this is an annual event, and 80 people are signed up, I think, something like that. So it's going to be a big crowd. And we've got a lot of good news to mention, to talk about. So it'll be very well attended, and glad to do that. We do, to Commissioner Merrill's point, we do have the CCAO call tomorrow morning on the sales tax issue.
Yeah, that's at 8 o'clock.
That's at 8 o'clock, and that's kind of the number one issue of the CCAO. There's certainly a number of important ones, but that's the number one issue. And that's an ongoing effort to get the state legislature to recognize the need for replacement of that lost sales tax revenue from the Medicaid providers. The Finance Authority had their meeting on Tuesday evening. Commissioner Merrill and I were there for part of it. It was, it's good to see that group getting more and more active and working on more and more opportunities to, to help the county's economic development efforts. They met with Westerville, they met with the City of Delaware on some projects, and it's good to see them working well with with the local communities and figuring out ways to work together and help advance the community's economy. Went to the Health District annual meeting on Tuesday evening as well, and that was actually pretty quick. It was fairly brief and very interesting. The Health District is very active and does a lot of good things, and most of the townships were there and the cities and so on, so it was a good meeting to see the Health District and people participating in what's going on there. We did have a bond transaction earlier this week, I'm sorry. And it was done Monday because of the snowstorm in the east that didn't actually materialize into a big snowstorm, but nevertheless, they moved it up and got it done on Monday. We're refinancing $17+ million of our sewer district debt, and they got the rate reduced to about 1.78, including the issuance costs, as I understand. That's how the calculation was made. So it went very well. And I think, again, we had a good team put together. The savings are phenomenal. It's going to be almost $2.5 million over the next 7 years on this project, refinancing that. So huge savings. Good work by Sikili and our auditor, George Keitza, in getting that done and saving the county a bunch of money. And I know they're looking at other refinancing opportunities in the coming years and going to hopefully find and take advantage of opportunities to take advantage of our AAA rating and save money for the county. Lastly, we did get an investment portfolio, our monthly investment portfolio from our treasurer, John Peterson, and our portfolio yield is up to 1.12% actually, and it was 0.78% a year ago, and so it's gone up 32 basis points. And 32 basis points times the portfolio of $241 million is $800,000 a year in increased earnings on our portfolio. So seemingly small increase in the portfolio yield of 32 basis points is $800,000. So, now, again, a lot of that isn't the county's money, but it's the agencies and other jurisdictions that John manages the money for. But nevertheless, very good news on the investment portfolio front. That's all I've got. We have no need for executive session. I don't think we didn't set a record for the shortest meeting,
Very close.
but we're close. So, okay. With that, we're adjourned. Commissioner Lewis?
Oh, thank you.
There we go.